Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to the 2009-10 Feature Game Selection Show. For those of you who are wondering what in the world I'm talking about by a Feature Game Selection Show, I'm getting ready for the 2009-10 hockey season replay that's going to start later this summer. And so this show is going to be set up around selecting the feature games that are going to be played during that replay. For those of you who are confused about that, the way I do my replays is I play one game. I'm going to play one game per 4 days of hockey, just like I did with baseball when I did 1985 earlier this year. So I've divided the hockey season up into blocks of 4 days. We're going to pick one game in whatever system it is. Then we're going to fast play the rest via Fast Score Hockey by Downey Games. I've got my ticker tape. I've actually got the entire schedule here ready to go. I've only got it on paper so I can mark the feature games, but I'm going to keep everything in Excel, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Before we get into that, though, I actually just got a delivery in from Amazon that we're going to crack on the channel here as well. Normally I do this at the end of the video, but there's something I want to get started on while this selection show is going on. So let's crack this open and see what we've got in here. First thing we're greeted by in here is a keychain of the Stanley Cup. This is what the teams will be playing for. Let me bring that up to the camera. But if it'll focus for me, that's what the teams will be playing for during this 2009-10 hockey season replay, to be added to that Stanley Cup. This is why I wanted to get something else started here. So in here, we've got the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. As you can see here, it's got Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, and Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. And it's still got the codec. Actually, it's got something I'm going to need during the game. But the reason I wanted to unbox this first is because I've got my PS5 turned on in there, and I wanted to start the install on this. Now, for those of you who are wondering why I needed a copy of this, I'm actually going to be doing a side-by-side playthrough of the original video game for Metal Gear Solid, along with doing Metal Gear Mondays, where I'm playing through Metal Gear Solid, the board game by CMON. So I'm going to start the install of this, so I will be right back. I'm just looking at my PS5. I'll be able to keep an eye on that while this is going on. Conflict Board Gaming is first to join us here. Just got back from his brother's after playing a 4-player game of Last Light. Nice. So that mailer can now hit the bin. There's nothing else in there. And I've got my install of the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection going for my PS5. So in this show, as I mentioned, we're going to be picking out the feature games for my 2009-10 hockey season replay. Now, I'm going to be playing, I have two systems that I'm featuring for this one, Inside the Crease Hockey and Stratomatic Hockey. So now we'll tab in. I will mention at this point that the poll you guys have had available to vote on is officially closed. So thank you for everybody who voted on that. We'll tab over to see the results of that. And as we can see, by a fairly wide margin, actually, you guys want to see Inside the Crease start the season replay. So I will oblige with that, as I mentioned, the poll this time was going to be binding. Usually I use these polls just to gather information on what you guys might want to see. I don't necessarily let myself be bound by the vote in question. This time I decided I wanted to be bound by this vote. So in this case, we are starting the season with Inside the Crease Hockey as our first game in the replay. This will give me a little bit of an interesting challenge as well. With two systems, I ideally want to feature each team twice and each team at home at least once. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to set up an opposite kind of effect, where what I want to do is if a team is at home in Stratomatic Hockey featured on the board, I want to feature them on the road in Inside the Crease Hockey, and vice versa. So I've also got a tracker that I'm going to use to keep track of all of that, along with the ticker. So all we tab in to build out the feature game schedule, we're going to go with this is a little bit more of a chill stream, I think. So I'll open this up to AMA questions. If there's anything you guys want to ask me, leave it in the chat with an AMA tag, and as long as it's not too personal, I'll answer it. Now, what would I consider too personal for AMA? We'll go with standard AMA rules for this stream. If you wouldn't want it asked of you, don't ask it of me. I've never had really any hard and fast rules with AMA. That's just the general guideline I use. Just use a little bit of common sense with those questions. So, with that said, let's bring Excel up. I'll see if I can zoom in on this just a touch so you guys can follow along. There we are. And I think if I filter these by the blocks, that'll probably be the easiest thing to do. So I want block 1 in this case. So the way we're going to select a feature game is we're going to pick out the first day of each block. We'll pick out one of these games. So in this case, we're going to be starting with Inside the Crease Hockey. Now, just to explain a little bit about what I've got going on here, I've got all of the ratings I need finalized to use Final Score Hockey as my ticker tape engine. I've also got a few formulas set up over here where where this overtime loss formula is going to be based on this overtime column. So just to show you how this works, if I type in overtime for a game here, then OTL will fill in with a yes. The same thing will happen with a shootout. So don't particularly like playing sports games, but love watching my playthroughs. Enjoy the commentary. Thank you for the kind words on that, Conflict. I do enjoy playing the sports games, especially when I'm doing a full season replay, because I really like watching that story unfold in the replay. Yes, it's a lot of work, but watching everything unfold and watching the story play out makes it all worth it in the grand scheme of things. So we're going to go ahead and pick out the feature games here. So our first block is the October 1st to the 5th block. I should also mention that we're going to pick feature games up through March. We're going to pick up to March. Because similar to what I did with 1985 in September, I do want to start picking the games on the fly, because I want to start focusing in on the playoff races a little bit more when we get later in the season. So that's how we're going to do that. So looking here at October 1st, we've got 4 games to choose from. We've got the Washington Capitals at the Boston Bruins, the Vancouver Canucks at the Calgary Flames, the San Jose Sharks at the Colorado Avalanche, and the Montreal Canadiens at the Toronto Maple Leafs. My dedication is admirable. Once again, thanks for the kind words on that. Again, it does take a lot of work to do these replays, and that's one of the things. And wow, I'm humbled that you think so much of my channel, Conflict. And I just kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. I don't remember what I was going to say. One thing I will mention, like I said, is I want to set this up where if a team is at home and Inside the Crease, they're going to be on the road when I feature Strat, at least for the guaranteed games that we're going to feature. So, one more thing I do want to mention. When I talked about the poll, the other thing that you guys were helping to decide, but you didn't know it at the time, was there are going to be 2 demo games for these season replays. For this season replay, I'm going to use both Stratomatic Hockey and Inside the Crease Hockey. Because of that, I'm going to have a demo game for each one. So what you guys were helping to decide as well is which demo game is going to be first. And Inside the Crease Hockey is going to be first with the demo game. So, now that we've got that all established, let's move back into the replay schedule, and we'll take a look here at our games. So I think for the first block game, we're going to take the Washington Capitals at the Boston Bruins as a classic rivalry. So we'll filter down for block 2. And our block day here is going to be October 6th, 2009. Games we have to choose from here are the Tampa Bay Lightning at the Carolina Hurricanes, the Montreal Canadiens at the Calgary Flames, Dallas Stars at the Edmonton Oilers, San Jose Sharks at the Los Angeles Kings, Anaheim Ducks at the Minnesota Wild, Washington Capitals at the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Ottawa Senators at the Toronto Maple Leafs. As much as I'd love to have the Flyers at home right away, I just had the Capitals on the road and Inside the Crease, so I want to make sure I get them at home in Strat. So I think with that in mind, we're going to go with a California game. The San Jose Sharks at the Los Angeles Kings will be our feature game for that block. And I'm not tracking any of this. So let's see. Washington Capitals and the Boston Bruins. So they're home Inside the Crease. Capitals are road Inside the Crease. Sharks are road Stratomatic. Kings are home Stratomatic. So just as an example of what I'm looking to do, since I've got the Kings at home in Stratomatic, I want to find a feature game for them and Inside the Crease where they're on the road. So hopefully that all makes sense. And if there's a game in particular that catches your eye, anybody in chat, go ahead and stop me as we're looking at the block games for each block. So block 3 is going to take us to October 10th, 2009, where we've got most every team being featured. This is another Inside the Crease block. So here we're looking at the New York Islanders at the Boston Bruins, the Colorado Avalanche at the Chicago Blackhawks, Washington Capitals at the Detroit Red Wings, Montreal Canadiens at the Edmonton Oilers, New Jersey Devils at the Florida Panthers, Buffalo Sabres at the Nashville Predators, Atlanta Thrashers at the Ottawa Senators. Yes, this is before the Thrashers went to Winnipeg and became the Jets again. Or brought the Jets back to the league again. I had to check some complicated history on that. Anaheim Ducks at the Philadelphia Flyers. Columbus Blue Jackets at the Phoenix Coyotes. Looks like everything for Metal Gear Solid is installed already, so very nice. Minnesota Wild at the San Jose Sharks. I was about to say San Jose Sharks, but San Jose. Los Angeles Kings at the St. Louis Blues. Carolina Hurricanes at the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the Pittsburgh Penguins at the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think for this one, we're going to feature the historical Stanley Cup champion, as we're going to have the Chicago Blackhawks hosting the Colorado Avalanche, and that one is going to be an Inside the Crease. So that'll be home Inside the Crease for Chicago, and Colorado is on the road for Inside the Crease. Block 4 is our next game. These are the games that we have to choose from, and I think I know... Ooh, actually, am I going to that one? We will look, and actually, never mind, we can't, because that's on October 15th. October 14th is what we're looking at here. So we've got the Minnesota Wild at the Anaheim Ducks, the Pittsburgh Penguins at the Carolina Hurricanes, the Edmonton Oilers at the Chicago Blackhawks, the Nashville Predators at the Dallas Stars, and the Los Angeles Kings at the New York Rangers. So for block 4, as being a Stratomatic block, I think here we are going to take the Minnesota Wild at the Anaheim. Actually, are we going to take that? No, I think we're going to take the Pittsburgh Penguins at the Carolina Hurricanes. Let's see. So that's the game we're looking at. So Pittsburgh is at home. So Pittsburgh's on the road, if I can ever find the Penguins here. They're on the road for Stratomatic, whereas the Carolina Hurricanes are going to be home for Stratomatic. Moving into Block 5 once I take a drink of my Crystal Light, because I'm getting a little bit thirsty. We're moving into an inside the crease block. The Los Angeles Kings at the Dallas Stars, the Vancouver Canucks at the Edmonton Oilers, and the San Jose Sharks at the New York Rangers. For inside the crease, I want the Sharks at home, so that rules that one out. I think we'll go with the pair of teams that we haven't had on the board yet. So that'll be the Vancouver Canucks at the Edmonton Oilers. That is Block 5. So we've got the Vancouver Canucks on the road for inside the crease. And we've got the Edmonton Oilers home inside the crease. Block 6 will take us to October 23rd, 2009. This one's a Stratomatic block. Carolina Hurricanes at the Colorado Avalanche, Florida Panthers at the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Minnesota Wild at the St. Louis Blues. And I think here we're going to take two teams that we haven't had on the board yet. Colorado's already on the road and inside the crease, so I don't want them there. Penguins are on the road in Stratomatic, so taking them here would be acceptable for the parameters, but I want to take two teams I haven't had on the board yet. That will be the Minnesota Wild at the St. Louis Blues. So the Wild will be on the road for, what did we say, Stratomatic? Yep. Whereas the Blues will be at home for Stratomatic. Block 7 will take us to October 27th, 2009. Let's rehide that. This one is going to be an inside the crease block. We're looking at the Colorado Avalanche at the Edmonton Oilers, the Detroit Red Wings at the Vancouver Canucks, and the Philadelphia Flyers at the Washington Capitals. As long as the Capitals have a home game they're on the road and inside the crease. I want to try to get them at home in Strat first. Let's see, the Canucks are on the road and inside the crease, so same problem there. Actually, I think this is one where all three teams are already featured in the respective situation. Already featured in the respective system. Okay, so I think in that case, now I want to look at getting the historical Eastern Conference champion on the board, the Philadelphia Flyers. So we're going to take that game. That'll be the Philadelphia Flyers at the Washington Capitals. So the Flyers will have a road game in inside the crease. And the Capitals get another home game, which I want to find them a road. Actually, hold on. Did I have the Capitals on the road earlier? Yes. So I got my tally marks off. So I've got them both for inside the crease, which I don't necessarily like, but I'll have to live with that. Block 8, and I think I just found my feature game. Halloween 2009. The Edmonton Oilers at the Boston Bruins, the Detroit Red Wings at the Calgary Flames, Toronto Maple Leafs at the Montreal Canadiens, Dallas Stars at the Nashville Predators, Buffalo Sabres at the New York Islanders, Atlanta Thrashers at the Ottawa Senators, Carolina Hurricanes at the Philadelphia Flyers, Anaheim Ducks at the Phoenix Coyotes. The Coyotes, fun fact, were the original Winnipeg Jets. Minnesota Wild at the Pittsburgh Penguins, Florida Panthers at the St. Louis Blues, and the New Jersey Devils at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Let's see if I've done anything with Toronto yet. I have not, so that actually works out perfectly. So Block 8 being in Stratomatic Hockey is going to feature the Toronto Maple Leafs at the Montreal Canadiens. And as a fun fact, this is nothing that's going to be at all related to the replay, but that game is actually going to be Expos night at Montreal's home stadium. That'll be our way of honoring the 1985 World Series champion Montreal Expos. So Block 9 brings us back to inside the crease once again. Here we are looking at these 6 games. The New York Islanders at the Buffalo Sabres. The San Jose Sharks at the Columbus Blue Jackets. Phoenix Coyotes at the Colorado Avalanche. The Calgary Flames at the Dallas Stars. Carolina Hurricanes at the Florida Panthers. And the Washington Capitals at the New Jersey Devils. Capitals are on the road and inside the crease, so let me deal with something here real quick. I'll just do it from my phone. I just saw something I'm going to forward over. So hold on just a second. Let me check what that is. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me get this forwarded over real quick. There we go. Okay, now that we've got that sorted out, let's see, have we done anything with the Islanders and the Sabres yet? We have not, so I think that is going to be our feature game for this block. So we'll take the New York Islanders at the Buffalo Sabres. So that'll give the Islanders a road game and inside the crease, and the Sabres will have a home game and inside the crease. Block 10 is going to be a Stratomatic block looking at November 8th, 2009. St. Louis Blues at the Atlanta Thrashers, Edmonton Oilers at the Colorado Avalanche, and the Los Angeles Kings at the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's see. So we have had the Blues at home in Strat, which means I don't want them here. I think the Oilers are at home and inside the crease, and the Avalanche are on the road and inside the crease, I think. Yep. So actually, this works very well. I will take care of that game right here. So the Edmonton Oilers will get a road game in Stratomatic, and the Avalanche will get a home game in Stratomatic. So now they are completely done in terms of my opposing parameters. So that will be the feature game for Block 10. One other thing that keeping everything in Excel will let me do is it'll let me change up my tiebreakers and make it a little bit easier for me. Because I'll be able to track head-to-head tiebreakers as well a lot easier now. So Block 11 for November 12th, 2009. Florida Panthers at the Boston Bruins. Vancouver Canucks at the Detroit Red Wings. Atlanta Thrashers at the New York Rangers, Ottawa Senators at the Philadelphia Flyers, Montreal Canadiens at the Phoenix Coyotes, New Jersey Devils at the Pittsburgh Penguins, Dallas Stars at the San Jose Sharks, Nashville Predators at the St. Louis Blues, and the Minnesota Wild at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Let's see, what teams have we done anything with? I think we've done something with the Bruins. They're home inside the crease. So I actually got them reversed with the Capitals from Block 1. Canucks are on the road and inside the crease, so I don't want them. Thrashers and the Rangers, I don't think we've done anything with either team yet. We have not. Senators and the Flyers also haven't done anything with either one of them. Actually, we have the Flyers on the road and inside the crease. So never mind that. Canadiens are at home in Strat, which we could take them for that. Coyotes haven't done anything yet. Devils at the Penguins. We haven't done anything with the Devils. The Penguins have a road game in Strat, so this would work for them. Stars haven't done anything with them yet, and the Sharks are on the road in Strat, so this would work for them. Predators haven't been touched yet. The Blues are at home in Strat. Wild and Lightning have not, I don't think either one of them have been. Wild and the Lightning, we haven't done anything with either of them yet. You're a big fan of organization, and I seem the same. Yeah. With some of the things that work, I kind of describe myself as a bit of a control freak. So yeah, I do really like having as much organization as I can, especially with a project like this. I really want to try to make sure things run as smoothly as I can for something like this. So I think here we're going to take a game where we haven't had either team featured yet. So we're going to take the Thrashers at the Rangers. So that'll give the Thrashers road inside the crease. Rangers are home inside the crease. Let's go Penguins. Well, at least now we know we've got at least one Penguins fan in the channel. Block 12 is going to take us to November 16th, 2009. Looking at, this is a Stratomatic block. New York Islanders at the Boston Bruins, Edmonton Oilers at the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Los Angeles Kings at the Florida Panthers, New Jersey Devils at the Philadelphia Flyers, Tampa Bay Lightning at the Phoenix Coyotes, and the Anaheim Ducks at the Pittsburgh Penguins. Devils haven't had anything done with them yet. Flyers are road inside the crease, so that's definitely a good option. Bruins, I believe, are home and inside the crease, so I want them on the road if I can. Islanders, we haven't done... Islanders are road inside the crease, so I don't want them for that. Oilers are... Actually, the Oilers are completely done, so never mind that. Kings are home strat, so I don't want them here for that. The Lightning hasn't been touched yet. Flyers are road inside the crease, I believe. Yes, so we could take them for that. Okay. Ducks haven't been touched yet. Penguins are road strat. So I think here we're actually going to go ahead take the Devils for their first game on the board. So they're going road strat, and the Flyers are going to go home strat. So now the Flyers are done. That was block 12. Okay. Going into block 13 next. 13, not 14. 13. There we go. All right, block 13. This is another inside the crease block. Boston, November 20th, 2009. Boston Bruins at the Buffalo Sabres. Florida Panthers at the Detroit Red Wings. New York Islanders at the Minnesota Wild. Philadelphia Flyers at the San Jose Sharks. Colorado Avalanche at the Vancouver Canucks. And Montreal Canadiens at the Washington Capitals. We have the Canadiens on the road, at home in strat, actually. The Capitals are on the road inside the crease. Almost. Let's see. I think we established that Vancouver is road inside the crease. Sharks are road strats. So this would work for them, but I don't think it would work for the Flyers. Flyers are completely done. Actually, the Bruins are home inside the crease. Sabres so far are also home inside the crease. So I think we're going to go ahead. We haven't touched the Panthers or the Red Wings yet. Well, let's fix that. So we'll take that as our feature game. The Florida Panthers. This is block 13. Florida Panthers at the Detroit Red Wings. So the Florida Panthers are going to be road inside the crease. And the Red Wings are home inside the crease. And before we continue, hold on just a second. I thought I muted the microphone. My apologies for that. My nose was starting to run a little bit and it was bothering me. Okay, sorry about that. Block 14. Bringing us to November 24th, 2009. Well, unfortunately we've only got the one game there, so guess what our feature game for Block 14 is going to be? The Columbus Blue Jackets making their first appearance in the replay. They're going road Stratomatic. And the Canadiens are getting another home game in Stratomatic. It's unfortunate, but nothing I can do about it. Block 15 is bringing us back to inside the crease, where we've got a lot of options here. I'm not going to rattle them all off. What I am going to do, though, is check my list here There are a few teams that we haven't put on the board yet. We've got the Senators, the Lightning, the Predators, the Flames, Coyotes, Ducks, and Stars that we haven't put on the board yet. Well, let's go Lightning and the Stars then with that in mind. So the Lightning are getting a road game in Inside the Crease. Dallas is getting a home game in Inside the Crease. Block 16 bringing us back to Strat. December 2nd now. Let's see what we've got here. Lightning, we just put them on the board for the first time. Road Inside the Crease, so that wouldn't work for them. Avs are completely done. Predators haven't been on the board yet. The Wild are home Strat. Canucks are road Inside the Crease. The Devils are home Strat. All right, so it looks like I'm having a hard time getting that opposite thing going, so I'm not going to concern myself too much with that. I'm going to try for it, but I'm not going to break myself to get it. I'm more worried about featuring each team at least once at home and on the road. So I think with that in mind, I'm going to take... I think we'll go ahead with taking the Panthers and the Avalanche. The only thing I don't like there is I've already got the Avalanche. Actually, they're only on the board 3 times. That's not too bad. So the Panthers are getting a home game in Stratomatic. Let's mark that off on my paper ticker. Which one did I just mark off? Wait a minute. This is block 16 I just marked. So this is December 2nd. I think we just took the the Avalanche and the Panthers, which is this one right here. Block 17. There are our feature games, and I don't think we've had either the Senators or the Ducks on the board yet, have we? No. So we will for block 17. I think the Red Wings. Yeah, let's go with the Senators and the Senators and the Ducks. So that'll be block 17's feature game. So the Senators are getting an away and Inside the Crease. The Ducks are getting a home game and Inside the Crease. Block 18 is taking us to October 10th. This is a Stratomatic block. Right now I want to make sure I get everybody featured on the board. I don't have the Predators, the Flames, or the Coyotes. Let's see. Kings are home Stratomatic. Let's see. Penguins are road Stratomatic, so I don't want that. Let's get the Predators on the board. So we'll go to the the Columbus Blue Jackets at the Nashville Predators. So the Blue Jackets are getting another road game. The Predators are getting a home game. Let's see. Predators are home Stratomatic. So the only team that we completely have yet to feature is the Phoenix Coyotes. Let's see if block 19 gives us a way to feature them. It does, and I think we are going to, as much as I don't want to give the Red Wings another home game, I do want to make sure I feature the Coyotes on the board at some point. So we're going to go, once I find it here, we're going to take the Coyotes at the Red Wings. So that's road Inside the Crease for Phoenix. I'm actually going to stop worrying about the system at this point. I don't think we're going to get that to work. I just want to make sure I get everybody on the board at least twice. and at least once at home and on the road. Block 20. These are our feature games. Let's see. Sabres don't need a home game. Neither do the Blackhawks, I don't think. No. Panthers. Panthers are actually done. Devils and the Hurricane. Devils and the Senators actually. Yeah, we could take that one. Lightning on the road. The Lightning are featured once each. Capitals are all good. So I think we will go ahead and we'll take the Senators at the Devils. That is block 20 we're into now. Okay, I didn't have anything for block 20 on this page. No. Senators at the Devils. Block 21 brings us to right before Christmas 2009, which there is a little bit of a Christmas break in the season. Let's see. Ducks need a road game, so we'll actually take that for a road game, even though that's going to put the Avalanche on the board yet again. So we'll give the Ducks a road game and the Avalanche another home game. Block 22 coming up next. Let's see, these are our games to choose from here. Let's see. Actually, Bruins need a road game. Let's see. The Wings need a road game. Blue Jackets need a home game. So we'll probably. Let's see. What do we? Actually, how do I not have Calgary on the board yet? Let's see. Edmonton's actually done. Let's see. Okay. Atlanta at New Jersey. Montreal on the road at Ottawa. Yeah, I think we'll take that one. So block 22. Montreal at Ottawa. So Montreal at Ottawa. So they're all handled. Block 23. Looks like it's taking us to New Year's Day 2010. Let's see, the Flyers are completely done. Bruins are also done. They actually need a road game. Thrashers need a road game. Sabres need a road. Actually, if that was reversed, I'd take the Thrashers and the Sabres in a heartbeat. So I think here we are actually going to take the Thrashers and the Sabres. So that'll give the Thrashers another road game and the Sabres another home game. Block 24 is taking us into January 2010. Let's see, we don't have the Penguins on the road. The Maple Leafs need a home game. So I think that may be where we fall. Red Wings need a road game. Ducks need a... Actually, the Ducks are done. Wild need a home game. Blackhawks need a road game. Coyotes... let's see. The Coyotes need a home game, which that's not going to help them with that. Stars need a road game as well, which I think... We'll pencil that in for the time being. Actually, let's put the Flames. Let's put the Flames on the board here. I don't think I have them. Let me look here, but I don't think I have the Flames on the board yet. Let's see. That's not them. I should probably be marking these games as well in Excel. I'll go back and mark them in Excel, but right now I want to see if I've got the Flames on the board, because I'm not sure I do yet. I do still need to find a home game for... Actually, there are quite a few teams I still need to find a home game for. Have I gotten this far in the season and not put Calgary on the board yet? It is beginning to look like I've gotten this far in the season and somehow not put Calgary on the board yet. Let's just looking here. And yeah, I have somehow gotten this far in the season and not put Calgary on the board yet. So I think block 24 is where that's going to change. So we're going to take the Calgary Flames at the Nashville Predators. So Calgary Flames at the Nashville Predators. And I'm going to go ahead and start marking off these games. Block 25. We've got a lot of choices here. Let's see, who still needs a home or a road game? Penguins don't have a home game available to them here. How about the Rangers on the road? We do have the Rangers on the road, so that's a possibility. Sabres don't need another home game. The Avalanche don't need another game on the board. Blues need a road game. Kings don't need another home game. That's another option. Blackhawks need a road game. I think, yep. Wild need a home game. No, the Wild don't need a home game. Devils and Canadiens should both be done. Yep, they are. Ducks at the Predators. The Predators don't need another home game. Panthers at the Senators. The Senators, actually both teams are covered. Lightning at the Flyers. Nope. Islanders at the Coyotes. That's possible because the Coyotes need a home game. Red Wings at the Sharks. Let's see, Red Wings. Well, I think that's our best candidate so far. Penguins at the Maple Leafs. Well, the Maple Leafs do need a home game. Flames at the Canucks, but I think here we're going to take the Red Wings at the Sharks for block, what is this, 25. So let's see, Red Wings at the Sharks. Okay, block 26. Not many options to pick from. Let's see, we do... Let's see, Bruins need an away game. Ducks are done. Penguins need a road game. Actually, Penguins need a home game. Flames need a home game. So that one's possible. Capitals and the Panthers are both done. Canucks at the Wild. So I think we'll take the Penguins at the Flames for block 26. Penguins at the Flames. I'm really trying to make sure I get each team featured at least twice on the board. I think I'm even having problems getting the one home, one road game. This would be a lot easier if it was a baseball season replay because the scheduling for hockey seems to be a lot weirder in that regard. Let's see here. Blackhawks need a road game. Rangers need a road game as well. So I think it's going to be one of these two. And either way, we've got a lot of original six history with these four teams. Who's been on the board fewer times? Canadiens have been on the board 3 times. Rangers have only been there once. Blackhawks are on there once. Red Wings are on there 3 times. So either way, we're getting one team overloaded. I guess we'll go with the Blackhawks and the Red Wings. So that is block 27. Blackhawks at the Red Wings. All right, I'm going to try to keep the Red Wings off the board. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of imbalance, which is not leaving me warm at all to using board record of any kind as a tiebreaker. 21st has a lot of options for us to pick from. Penguins do have a home game, so that's... I think this is Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby the early years. So that could be a good one. Blues and the Senators. Same problem I've got. I'm starting to overload on teams a little bit. Hurricanes at the Thrashers. Yeah, I think that's the game we'll go with. So we'll take the Carolina Hurricanes at the Atlanta Thrashers. Let's see what block 29 is going to bring us. That isn't going to bring us quite into February yet. Not a lot of options here either. I really want to get the Penguins on the at home. Blues need a home game. Blues need a road game. Flames. Okay. Sabres need a road game. Canucks need a home game, so actually we'll take that one. Buffalo Sabres at the Vancouver Canucks for block 29, and I've gone back to not marking the feature games, but I will go back and do that. So Sabres at home. Actually, Sabres on the road. Canucks at home. Block 30. Here are our choices. Let's see what we're looking at here. We don't have a home game for the Penguins. Let's see. So we need... Who do we need home games for? Toronto, Columbus, Minnesota, Phoenix. None of them are featured. So how about road games? Rangers, no. Predators, yes, we do have a... It's against the Red Wings, though. That would be the Red Wings' 5th time on the board, which I'm not warm to that at all. So I think instead, I'm going to work on balancing out board appearances. Ducks have been on the board twice, Lightning twice. Panthers twice, Capitals twice, it looks like. So we're going to take another board appearance for the Maple Leafs. So we'll go. So block 30 will feature the Toronto Maple Leafs at the New Jersey Devils. Yep, that's block 30. All right, so we've got another. Yeah, the way the feature games for this replay are shaping up, I am not warm at all to using any kind of board-based tiebreakers, but I'm not sure what I want to do about that yet. Fortunately, I've got like a month or so yet before I need to figure that out. So these are our games for block 31. Let's see. No home game for the Penguins. No home game for the Islanders. We do have a home game for the Maple Leafs, but I just put them on the board. They're against the Devils, too. I think that was also the... Yeah, that was also the last board game. I'd be starting to overload the Devils a little bit, so I don't want to do that if I don't have to. Red Wings and the Sharks are already overloaded. Coyotes and the Predators. Canucks at the Canadiens. They're overloaded a little bit. Rangers and the Kings. That's a marquee matchup, and I think the one we are going to go with. So that's block 31. Let's see, where are you in block 31? Here we go. Rangers and the Kings. Block 32. With baseball, it's also a lot easier and probably a lot more logical too to want to try to feature every stadium at least once. Whereas with hockey, there's really no need for that, I don't think. Let's see, with this many games, there should be something we can take that's acceptable. Not lining up for the Penguins. We do have a home game for the Islanders. Let's see, we got a home game for the Maple Leafs. And we're overloading the Senators on the road a little bit. Let's see. Home game for the... We established home game for the Maple Leafs, but we'd be overloading the Senators. Blue Jackets also have a home game against the Sabres. They're already on the board 3 times, so I'm not warm to that either. How about the home game for the Wild against the Flyers? That's an option as well. Let's see, what else are we looking at here? Home game for the Coyotes. They're on the road in Dallas. So I think here we're going to go with the Hurricanes at the Islanders for block 32. Block 33. Let's see. These are our options. Coyotes. Wild are at home against the Coyotes. And I think that's the game we'll take here. So that'll give me the Coyotes. So that's block 33. We'll find Coyotes at the Wild. Then for block 34, we're getting near to March here. Actually, we are into March now because block 34's feature day is Singles Awareness Day for 2010, aka Valentine's Day. Let's see, we do need a home game for the Blue Jackets. What about for the Ducks and the Oilers? They're all good there. Wild got their home game. Islanders got their home game. Penguins do need a home game, so I think that's the one we'll go with heading into Singles Awareness Day. So we'll take the Predators and the Penguins. Unfortunately, actually, let me see how many more blocks I would need to go to fill some of these holes in. How long does the regular season stretch? Looks like it goes until April 11th. So I think we can pick... let's see. Do we at least have every team featured twice? We need to find more games for St. Louis and Dallas. So I'm going to pre-pick enough blocks to get me to that point where I have St. Louis and Dallas featured at least twice. Wow. That was easy. Block 35. We'll go with the St. Louis Blues at the Dallas Stars. So now let me make sure I've got everybody featured at least twice in this replay so far. I do. Okay. That was a little bit messier than I would have liked, and I didn't get quite the structure that I wanted, but we at least managed to pick out a good slate of feature games. So clearly I'm not going to be able to overlap systems like I wanted to with playing both Stratomatic and Inside the Crease, because I wanted to be able to feature each. You guys know what I was going for at the start of this feature game selection show. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring it to pass, but we do have a good slate of feature games selected, and we're at least picked into March, where at that point I'm going to want to start focusing in on the playoff race at that point. So let's bring it back up top, and we will call that a feature game selection show for 2009-10. I'm going to do one of these with every replay in the future, where at some point before the season starts, probably while I'm early in the off-season content schedule, we're going to sit down and do a feature game selection show like this, where it's just going to be a chill stream where you guys can come hang out with me. We'll sit down and we'll pick out the feature games. We'll also make it an AMA stream, but again, not too personal with it. So let's go ahead and wrap this stream up. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be playing Star Wars Force and Destiny from Edge Studio. I'm hoping to have another game in the afternoon, but that's going to turn on how things go with my Sunday afternoon game group. Monday, however, we will be starting what I call Metal Gear Mondays on the channel, as I'll be playing Metal Gear Solid, the board game, along with a side-by-side project of Metal Gear Solid, the video game. More on how that's going to work when we get to Metal Gear Mondays. Next week, Saturday, Mystical Munchies will continue out of the Star Wars Life Day cookbook as we make the side, Roshir Bramble. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.